again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes and all you people out there. Fiber Spider back again in the kitchen with a much awaited video. Yes, I had put forth the idea for this video a fair while ago, and I finally have the opportunity to do so. So today, we are going to be making my mother's, and before her, my grandmother's cheesecake recipe. My mom has been making this cheesecake for about 50 years, and I'm going to show you the recipe today. Yes, look at this cute little card. Isn't that adorable? Yes, it's a cream cheese cake. We just call it a cheesecake, but yes, it has cream cheese in it. Now, there are, of course, 1,000,001 recipes for making cheesecake. However, whenever my mom makes this, it is always one of the first things to disappear. You know, whenever she brings it, to a get-together or whatever, it disappears. And it doesn't have fruit or chocolate or any fancy schmancy embellishments or anything like that. No, it speaks for itself. And it is very, very good. Now, in spite of the fact that the recipe has been in my family for longer than I've been alive, I've never made it before. So I'm going to try to make it today. And hopefully, I will be able to do this. Now, I got all my ingredients set to go, and one of the things that I had been told explicitly is to make sure that your ingredients are at room temperature, because that will supposedly prevent the cake from cracking, which it's not detrimental other than for aesthetic purposes, but at any rate. So, without further ado and yammering, let's get started, shall we? Okay. Hello again. Okay, so we're going to start off by making the crust. And one of the really lovely things about the crust is that it's, again, simple, easy to do, straightforward, and it is a graham cracker crust. And so I already took the liberty, and I got my graham crackers all ready to go. I ground them up in a little food processor. So brand, I would say it's not particularly important, but in case if you think it is, I took one sleeve of those graham crackers and I ground them up very, very fine, and going to be using those, but we have to use a little bit of butter first. So about 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So I'm going to just open this up and then cut off about 2 tablespoons worth. And we're going to melt that down in the microwave. And about here, so let me snip you off first. Boop. And that looks about right. Okay. Scoot you off to the side, and just going to pop you into the microwave for 10-second intervals or so until it is nice and melted. You don't want to fry it, but okay. And then we're going to mix in our I was about to say breadcrumbs because they do kind of look like breadcrumbs, but no, we're going to be using the graham cracker crumbs. Okay, getting there. Try another 15 seconds or so. And then we have here, this is a 10-inch spring form pan. And what's really great about this is, if those of you are not familiar with spring form pans, they have a little lock on the side. And you can open it up and then take that off, and then you can serve your cake like that. But we're going to keep that closed for now. Okay, a little bit more time. Another 15 seconds, we'll see what happens. And so, I also need to use a little bit of spray. Now, in the original instructions, it said to butter the sides, but I think that it'd probably be a little bit easier if I just spray it, don't you? Here we go. So it's nice and melted. Very nice. Give it a swishy swirl. Melted completely. Okay. So we're just going to add our crumbs. And so yeah, this is, like I said, this was 1 sleeve of crumbs. Again, the original recipe called for, it was about 1 1/4 cups of crumbs. And use you. Mix you together. But apparently 1 sleeve of the crumbs, my mom says, works out very nicely. Add some more. And so basically we're going for the consistency of wet sand, more or less. Something tells me I could have used perhaps a little bit more butter, considering the amount of the crumbs, but you know what? I generally, not always, not by any means, but generally I do try to do what my mom tells me to do. So, okay. Then give this a good spray. I'm going to do this over the sink. I'll be right back. Nice liberal spraying. And then start putting these in, and then I will start spreading them out and pushing them down and so forth. I'm just ultimately trying to go for a relatively even layer. Okay. Now, of course, this doesn't have to be pretty or precise or precisely pretty, because this is, well, this is going to be the underside of our cake. So if it doesn't look that great, don't worry about it. It's not that important. And you know what? I think I will add a little bit more just for stuffing giggles, as the expression goes. There. Okay. All right, so that is the first step relatively speaking, out of the way. Now I'm going to put you over to the side. And now we are going to break out the big guns. God. So here we have, my friend, the KitchenAid. Now, is it entirely necessary? I would think probably not, because I'm sure that people have been making desserts long before these were invented. But apparently, again, my mom says that this makes the process a whole lot easier. So we're going to be using this sucker today, and we shall continue on. Okay, guess what? I already made my first mistake. Yes, I'm blushing. Yes, I make mistakes too. Apparently, to the crust, you are also supposed to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, I'm going to omit that because, well, I already did everything that I did. So I'm going to omit it, and hopefully it's going to be okay. I imagine it will be. It's just 2 tablespoons of sugar, and the rest of the cake is nice and sweet. So, point of note, add your sugar to your crust mixture. We're off to a great start, aren't we? Okay, hey, never let it be said that, you know, I don't make mistakes, because yes, I make them just as much as the next person. So, that being said, we're going to continue on as if nothing happened. So, like I said before, you want your refrigerated ingredients to be room temperature because it'll make them a lot easier to mix, and also it will apparently prevent the cake from cracking. Also, I have my oven preheating at, it is 375. And so I have 2 packages of cream cheese. I'm just going with, you know, the Walmart store brand, great value. And so each package is 8 ounces, so 2 gets you 16 ounces. That is a pound of cream cheese. And we're going to be adding these. So let's see. Okay, soften the cream cheese and beat until fluffy. Well, it's definitely soft. I can attest to that. And then we add sugar and eggs. And also, the recipe will be written out in the description box down below, as I usually do. Alright, now getting into these is always tricky, but I'm persistent. There we go. There we are. That's one. And yes, also the attachment that I have, it's got the sort of rubber scooch spatula thingy on the side. Now, of course, yes, I'm sure that you can do this by hand, but it would, of course, also take a lot longer, I'm sure. Okay, and number 2. Get in there. Get in there. There we go. Okie dokie. Alright, so let's see. Soften the cream cheese and beat until fluffy. Gradually add the sugar, and then I'm going to be adding eggs one at a time and beat after each. Okay, so let's start getting this a little smooth. Alright, now, it is not often that I use this, so bear with me. right, and while that is mixy, fluffy, I'm going to get my my sugar. I just need 1 cup of granulated sugar. Okay, slow your roll. Okay. There we go. Alright, looks nice and mixed and whipped. Now going to lift this up and sort of scooch this off of here and then dig down into the bottom. Again, this is something that I was recommended. And make sure that all of the cream cheese at the bottom is in fact getting incorporated. Okay, scoot you in there. A little bit messy, but we do what we can, right? Okay. Okay. 1 second. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to start in with the eggs. So far we've got 2 packages of cream cheese, 1 cup of sugar, and we have 3 eggs. Also, again, I let these get to room temp, and I've already cracked them, you know, save on the drama. And I'm going to just add 1 at a time. Give it a chance to get incorporated. Yeah. And what's behind egg number 2, right? Looks like a custard. Oh, and the preheating is done. That's good. That's nice. Okay. Yeah, it definitely looks kind of like a custard right now. Okay, number 3. Definitely gonna have to scrape the sides down a bit. Not a problem though. Okay. Slow your roll. Okay. Oh, looks good. So yeah, let's scrape these sides a wee bit. Try to get as much of this off as I can. All right, I think we're good, relatively speaking. Okay, now we just have 2 more ingredients to add, which are our vanilla and our sour cream. Now here I have, this is a 16-ounce container of just regular old sour cream. That too, I also let it get up to room temp. And so yeah, we're gonna add the whole thing. It says a pint, and I'm assuming that this would be a pint. This is what she got for me, so I'm assuming so. I hope she's not sabotaging me. I already look bad as it is. Okay, can I get into this? There we go. And so it's going to be a teaspoon of vanilla. Always love adding vanilla into so many baked treats and things. And then our sour cream. There we go. Scrape those sides. And I think we're good. Okay, mix this up a bit more. It's looking really good. Now this is not one of those things where you need to like whip it like meringues or whipped cream or anything. You just want it to be nice and mixed together. And so I think that that's actually it. Okay, so now the slightly more arduous task of getting this into our pan. Oh, wrong button. No, it's this one. Can you tell I don't use this thing very often? Safety first, kids. Safety first. Oh, man. Okay, so yeah, let's scrape this down a bit. Okay. And then going to remove this altogether, actually. There we are. To the sink with you. Probably be easier if I do that. There we go. Okay. I feel reasonably safe now. All right. So, you know, I keep washing my hands, rinsing off my hands, because I keep getting stuff on my hands, and then I keep wanting to make sure that this is completely mixed together, and then I get more stuff on my hands. At least it smells nice, I will say that. Okay, so from here, going to add the contents. Gonna try to go for a nice even layer, and of course you can spread it out. And also, yeah, at this point it would probably be a good idea to have made sure that your springform pan is properly locked into place. Oh, I hope it has. See, if nothing else, I'm also showing you guys what not to do. And let it be said, or never be said, that, you know, like, I never said that I was an expert at this or anything for that matter. But I would say I am an enthusiastic novice. And I love learning new things. That's the fun in life as far as I'm concerned. It's no fun doing the same humdrum thing every day. No, variety, man. That's where it's at. So actually, it looks like it is doing its thing pretty nicely, quite frankly. There. Very pretty. Okay. Okie dokie. We are in the home stretch. All right, so now for the last and I would say perhaps the most important part before you put it in the oven. Okay, now I say this because my mom made this mistake once. Yes, she told me, and I will never let her live it down as a result. You know, it's like you got some ammunition on your mother, you got to use it, right? So, going to bake this in the oven. And like I said, this is a 10-inch pan. Now, if it is a smaller pan around and it's higher up, you might want to use, you know, a couple more minutes. But this is a 10-inch, so I'm going to be baking this for 18 minutes at. I did it again. I always get myself gooped. Going to be baking this for 18 minutes at 375. Now, here's the important thing. After those 18 minutes, you turn the oven off, but you leave it in the oven for about another, let me see, it's another hour? Yes, for 1 hour, you leave it in the oven, but you turn the oven off. It's very important because once she forgot to turn the oven off, and it was in there for another hour. Oh, and it was crispy. It was very crispy. I don't think we ate that, but it's very important. So I'm going to put this in the oven that's already done preheating, 375 for about 18 minutes, and then turn the oven off, leave it in the oven for about another hour, and then, my dears, then I can take it out and show you the results. All right, I will see you in a bit. Okay, so after baking for about 18 minutes and then turning off the oven and leaving it in the oven for another hour, we are set to take out our cheesecake fingers crossed. I hope it didn't crack, but if it does, it's not going to change the taste. I know, but it's nice if it looks pretty, right? So let's take a look. Oh, oh. Okay, so it cracked a little bit, just a little bit right around here. You can see it looks sort of like a scar. But yeah, we did it. We did it. And it's got a nice little jiggle to it too. All right. Okay, so game plan from here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this completely cool down, then I'm going to cover it in foil, then I'm going to pop it in the fridge overnight because this tastes considerably better, I would say, if it has had a chance to sit and do its proverbial thing. Give it a little time to, mature, if you will. So yeah, I'm gonna let this sit overnight in the fridge, and I'll be back. I will do a taste test with you, and fingers crossed, hopefully, I did the recipe justice in spite of my little faux pas with the crust, but it looks good. Yeah, it looks just like Mom's, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. So I will see you tomorrow. See you in a bit. Hello again, everybody. All right, so I waited patiently or impatiently, as the case may be. And it is the next day. It is a bright, sunshiny day, very windy, but hey, no better time than to try some cheesecake, right? I got up maybe about an hour ago, so this is going to be my breakfast. Yeah, life is uncertain. Eat dessert first, right? So I got my coffee, I got my cheesecake, and we are all set to go. I just got my little fingers crossed in the hopes that it tastes as good as it looks, because I'm so proud of myself. This is my first attempt, and yes, the side pulled away from the springform pan very nicely. It didn't stick at all, and it browned just a little bit, and then the interior is gorgeous. Now, aside from the crack that happened, it looks sort of like a scar. Aside from that, I think it looks pretty good. And does it look like my mom's? Yes. Now, does it taste like my mom's? Well, in spite of me forgetting to put the sugar in when I was making the crust, that should be a minimal point. If I forgot the butter, that would be a big thing. But without further ado, let's do the tasting, shall we? Bon appetit. Success. Resounding success. It tastes exactly the same. So actually, yes, you could get away without adding the extra 2 tablespoons of sugar to make the crust, and it works. If you want to, make the mistake that I did, yes, it totally works. But oh, I am so happy with myself. My first attempt, a raving success. I am so delighted. It is rich. It is creamy. There are some cheesecakes out there where it's really, really dense and it's even a little bit dry. This has nice creaminess, moisture, a bit of sweetness, a bit of a tang between the cream cheese and the sour cream, a little bit of a tang. It's not invasive. And to me, personally, I do not feel that this at all needs, fruit on top or some sort of preserves or some chocolate chips or whatever. Doesn't need it. I mean, by all means, you can. I'm not going to say you can't. But I personally don't think that it needs anything extra, no sort of, embellishments or accoutrement. It really doesn't need it. Mm. Oh, this is delightful. And it makes, you know, a decent sized cheesecake. And something that I didn't mention, but I'm going to mention it now. This freezes very well, actually. So what I would do is, you know, cut up, you know, individual slices, just wrap them up in some foil. And yes, you can pop them in the freezer, no problem. And then when you are interested in having it, I would say if you take it out of the freezer, and it will be totally ready to eat within, you know, I would say like maybe an hour-ish, you know, and it does not affect the flavor. I would say maybe it affects the texture just a wee bit, but as far as the flavor, does not affect the flavor at all. And believe you me, I've been doing this for years as far as freezing cheesecake, and it's a great way of storing leftovers for later. Yeah. So, listen, I really hope that you liked today's video. I know that I had mentioned that I was going to be doing it a while ago, and it took a while for me to actually do the video, but better late than never. And this is sort of like my early birthday cake. My birthday is later on this week, so, you know, happy birthday to me. You know, I figure I didn't want to put candles in it because we don't want a fire hazard. So, you know, that many candles, it's going to be like the Hindenburg. So we will avoid that. So listen, if you liked the video, please give a little thumbs up button down below, because you know that I appreciate your appreciation as always. And as I said before, there will be the written, I was going to say pattern, no, the written recipe in the description box down below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what sort of cheesecake do you like? If you like cheesecake, you know, what sort of cheesecake do you like? You know, do you have a cheesecake recipe that you swear by and have used for generations? You know, I don't know, let me know. Also, if you have any other kinds of, you know, recipes for, you know, really whatever, whether it's, you know, desserts or snacks or what have you, are there certain kinds of things that you would be interested in me making on this channel? I have a few more ideas up my sleeve, but I'm always looking for inspiration and ideas and so on and so forth. So, that being said, I want to thank all of you for being here today with me. And until next time, you know what to do, right? Until next time, I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay making fun, fabulous, and tasty treats in the kitchen for yourself and for those that you love. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now, everybody, and have a great day.